B'Shem Kol Yisrael, welcome to the Tefillah B'Iyan podcast, Shir, where we explore the meaning of the words we say in our Tefillah. So for today's Shir, I want to focus on the verse which comes up in our Parsha, Vayehee Binsoa Aron, Vayomer Moshe, Kuma Hashem Yeputu Oivecha, Yanusu Misanecha Mibanecha. So these are the words which we exclaim when we take out the Sefer Torah. And if you're like me, you probably like this song. You know, it's a catchy song. And us Ashkenazic communities love singing it. But you probably, if you're also like me, haven't really thought too much about the meaning. What does this have to do with us taking out the Torah scroll? So in order to get a little context, we're going to go back to our Parsha. We're right in the smack of the Parsha, right in the beginning of Chamishi. And Hashem, Moshe and Yitro just had this interesting conversation. Moshe tried to convince Yitro to stay. And the next Parsha after this, we're going to learn about how when everything turns bad and the Jewish people start complaining and kvetching about the lack of meat, etc. And it's all downhill from there. But right in between, with the middle nuns, we have these interesting verses where the Torah tells us that when Moshe would, when the Jewish people would take out the ark, so Moshe would exclaim, Hashem, Kuma Hashem, rise up, scatter our enemies. And all of those who hate us should run away from your face. That's what we say. And so, on the simplest level, just like in our Parsha when Moshe was taking out the ark and we would exclaim, oh, God, destroy our enemies. So too, when we take out our Torah scroll, we recount that moment in history by exclaiming the same verse, God, destroy our enemies. I'll tell you, the first time that this got meaningful for me was in the Israeli army. During this war, whenever we got up to these verses, our eyes would just lock, me and my fellow chayalim, and we would scream and sing with passion, wipe away our enemies, wipe away the Hamasnikim, and may your presence rest within our camp, Hashem. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing to scream out. And it makes a lot of sense in the context of war. But one question remains. Let's say you're not in the Israeli army. Let's say you're just a regular dude in Rehavia or Monsey or Brooklyn or wherever. And it's a Monday and you're about to go to work. And so you're about to hear laning. What are we talking about? Wiping away our enemies. What enemies? Okay, the political situation today, I get it. But still, what enemies are we talking about as we bring out the Sefer Torah? So perhaps I can suggest, al derech hadrush, the following idea. Very simple. We know the Mesilas Yesharim opens up explaining to us that all of life is really a battle where a Jew must fight his Yetzer Hara, where we must fight our desires, our taivas. And everyone's got their own Yetzer Haras. We're all struggling, we're all battling. Maybe for one person it's laziness, for another person it's anxiety, for another person it's certain addictions. And we're about to go out into the world which sometimes is a world with a lot of negativity. Right after the story, the Jewish people started complaining. Sometimes after davening, people sit down, they have breakfast, and they kvetch, and they complain, the food at this hotel wasn't as good as the food at that hotel, and this guy, and that boss, and etc., etc. Before we go out to the world, we remind ourselves what's going to give us the strength to overcome our desires, the wars out there. It's the Torah. It's Torah study, the antidote for the Yetzer Hara, and the values which the Torah teaches us. And so when we scream out, wipe away our enemies, we're reminding ourselves that through the koach of Torah, of the derech of the Torah, of the derech of Hashem, we can overcome our taivas, our yetzer haras, and choose positivity instead of straying down the path that Am Yisrael made the mistake of falling into at the end of our parsha. I hope you enjoyed this tefillah podcast. I hope you enjoyed the chidushim. And please God, we intend on continuing to share Torahs. If you have any thoughts or comments, I'd love it. Maybe it will make its way into next year. And thanks in particular to my study mates, where we learn these Torahs together in my chabura at Netzach Yisrael. Heard a lot of beautiful ideas, and it really helped me sharpen these ideas.